if anybody has questions about my current, my personal situation,
Yeah.
Instagram DM me. I'm an open book, man. If I can help save one person from one day of the bullshit that I've had to deal with, then it would be like my life's work. So,
Yeah.
I'm here. Just DM me, and if I don't get back to you, then, rattle my cage a little bit. But, yeah, I'm here, man. It's, I don't want to be a martyr, but it's like, I don't think you get to make that decision. I just think that if I can help spread the word about just, you know, um, I have that phrase that make your own heat. And
Yeah.
that was one of those days where it reminded myself that some days you can do everything. You can chop wood, you can carry water, but some days you actually have to make your own fucking fire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some days, most days, it takes you, nobody else. And if anybody needs any help with that, feel free to reach out, and I can see what I can do.
Robin Hood and Little John are walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other one has to say, reminiscing this and that and having such a good time.
All right. Hey, we're in studio today with Casey Bard, a friend to start with. Met him through, of course, like a lot of the people we've had on, our buddy Bert at Soren X. But Casey and I have had some time to connect and just get real with some life talk, which made me really want to have him on here. We are the Front of Center podcast, FOC. The idea here is people that are on are the men and women that are leaning into life, getting out in front and doing something crazy, doing something fun, but just doing life at a higher level. So you've got me, Brian Trainer, my brother, Bubba, Tyrel Trainer. I don't
Hey
even know
guys.
what to call him. It's
Yeah.
like you never call him Tyrell. It's T or Bubba. Um, just a couple of rednecks from Colorado, and so that's all we got. And then we've got our friend Casey. Casey, how are you this morning?
Dude,
Where are you at in the
doing
world?
well. You got me out of bed. That's great. I'm not a morning person, so um, we're pretty amped up on coffee and stuff, so we should be all right.
Yeah. Where are you sitting right now in the world, man? Where would we find you?
Upstate New York, east of Rochester, right on Lake Ontario. I'm a mile from the lake, and kind of Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. So it's
Yeah.
apple season right now. I'm in the basement
Okay.
of my home. This is kind of my home office. I spend a lot of time here as opposed to cruising around. I can rip down here whenever I need to and take care of business. And pretty lucky to be able to have nice little setup like this in my moldy little basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Dude,
feeling good, man.
what keeps the day busy, man? What's your day to day look like for people that don't know you like we know you? What's your day look like?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been morphing quite a bit, especially over the last year or two. I have 11-year-old twins, so they're just starting middle school. They're starting sixth grade. My daughter is into like high level equestrian, so we are super poor because of that. And
Yep.
she's also absolute beast in volleyball, so we're doing that now too. My son, he and I like to go mountain biking, hang out like that, and he's also he picked up Muay Thai about a year ago. He's an orange belt now. He's been kicking ass. So yeah, we're just a lot of it has to do with the kids, and hanging out with my wife, my best friend. We've been together 15 years, married for 15 years. It's like it's been crazy. So uh, spend most of my day. I'm the founder of a company called Tacticalories Seasoning Company. Um, been
Which
doing
I
that for
love. I
9 or
got a
10
drawer
years.
dedicated to just you. Yes. Yeah, which is my
I
favorite.
assume it's like a what do they call that? Like a corner memorial thing. It's not just Tacticalories. It's just about Casey.
It's got a
Yeah.
picture of you
Yeah.
on the front of the drawer. Our kitchen's pretty nice except for that one drawer.
like I forget I this is like sacrilegious, but like the candles that you can get in like the glass,
Jesus
like
and the Mary and all that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So my friend made one with me on it, and it's like me standing there like this with like
Yeah.
peppers or something in my hand, and it just says Spice Christ on it.
That's awesome.
So it's in my office over at the shop. But
I
yeah,
think
so
that, I'm sure that the Jesus Christ has a pretty good sense of humor with that. I bet he
yeah,
loves
I'm
it.
sure he's cool with that.
For
That's the
sure.
least of his concern with me, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a that's C and D level challenges for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I founded Tacticalories Seasoning Company. I was losing my big boy job. I was in all my 20s I worked in the supplement industry. Um and a friend of mine who's also in the industry and I worked on one of the biggest sports supplements of all time. Um and he and I both lost our big boy jobs, and I decided to luckily, we didn't go to federal prison for it, which was a
Yeah.
positive. But they basically said you're done here, and he and I both decided to take different routes. So my friend Brandon decided to start a little knife company. You guys have probably heard called
It's
Montana Knife
adorable, that
Company.
cute little thing. I hope they make it.
Me too. I'm hoping, man. I'm trying to help them out any way I can.
Yeah, I call them.
Um,
How can we help? What do you need? Looks
yeah,
like you there.
yeah. They're always so needy that
Mhm.
you know. Um, and then I started about the same time, I started Tacticalories, and it was just one of those things. I thought brisket was cooler than creatine at that point.
It
And
is.
yeah, I agree. Been doing that for 9 or 10 years now. Recently brought in some partners. So the company's definitely changed um, quite a bit in the last year and a half, but we're working through some of the challenges that come with bringing a team on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my day to day. I do some consulting, just trying to get people to understand how to put a proverbial cart before, or a horse before the cart that they're building with their business. Right. I mean, I think that one thing I've done with every business I've worked with, I worked in the motocross industry in my teens, and then the sports supplement industry all my 20s. Now the barbecues, backyard barbecue sauce all my 30s. They've all been really cool I've never had a real job. I've
Yeah.
kind of always built my own thing, and they've all been based around being associated with the brand. And you see, like Montana Knife, I don't want to like talk about them all day, but Montana Knife is more than a knife. It's that you're joining a club, essentially,
Yes. Yeah.
right? With Tacticalories, I hope that we put off that vibe a little bit with Volquartz and firearms, man.
Yeah.
You you're in a archery country, right? I mean, I you're in a certain club, and it's built around association. So I've been doing some consulting lately with consumer brands, and it's more than branding. Everyone kind of starts to put this stuff way before it, and it's like, dude, like, where are these people gonna hang out? Where are they gonna live? We don't, especially if you're direct to consumer, they have to have somewhere to live. We have to build that pool barn for them to hang out in. So that's been really kind of fulfilling to kind of be able to stretch my wings and help out, smaller businesses, and not rob them blind like some agencies do, and just say, hey, man, like, have you considered sending an email out?
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
here's the emails you should consider sending out. So that's been really fun. That's been super fulfilling lately. But that's my day to day. Just kind of, I ride my bike a lot, man. That's the other thing is I'm a
Yeah.
300-pound cyclist.
Yeah. And you do the worst of everything, don't you? You're a gravel bike guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it's,
it's like if you
yeah.
took the worst parts of mountain biking and the worst
Yes.
parts of road biking, you put them together, you have gravel.
100%. That's exactly
That's
like
my
it. And
opinion.
I don't know
I
anything
know that
about
there's a
it,
lot of
but
guys would disagree with me, but I'm like, it's like it is, and it's a good workout. And I know why guys do it, because you get that feel of being on the road and out and moving long distances, but you're not having cars zipping by you every two
yeah.
minutes, right?
Yeah, it's
Just
exactly. It's like,
horrifying on a road bike.
yeah, it's tough, man. Especially, I mean, I always kind of laugh, especially with, some of the things I have going on in my life right now, I'm definitely not as I always feel like a psycho because these people like blast by me and I can like feel their mirror touch my shoulder and I just like laugh at them and like stick my tongue out them at them and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of a little wild on that. But yeah, I love the bike, man. The bike has I quit powerlifting several years ago and decided like let me just try something completely different. And my buddy let me borrow his mountain bike. And growing up in motocross, all of a sudden that mountain bike kind of gave me that feel again. And it's
Yeah.
something that I could just like jump on, like I think you ride bikes and stuff, right?
I
Like
do.
so
Yeah.
like gassing, I mean we this summer we bought a side by side and it's the same thing. Like to go take that thing to go ride somewhere is a 2-day process. Like
Right.
to get it, you just gotta make sure it's all prepped. Where like a mountain bike, you can just fucking grab it and roll. I was like, man, as a busy dude, like this is a really cool opportunity to be able to get in the woods and um it's probably been like 5-6 years ago I broke my ankle in the high peaks in Adirondacks and that kind of I have like a permanent limp now from that.
Yep.
The first couple doctors said that there was nothing wrong. I had x-rays and everything was cool and then down the road they're like no, it's definitely fucked up, and it's like okay, so now I can either re-break my ankle or just deal with it. And what I found, hiking's super tough for me still. um Balance is terrible. I have no balance on my right leg at all. I tore all the, say this is, I tore all the ligaments off the top of my foot. So they all rolled back. So like my foot just
Awesome.
kind of
Yeah.
does one of these.
Yeah.
But I can get on a bike is what I noticed is when my buddy Matt let me borrow his bike, I could like ride a bike with no pain.
Yep.
And I can like, now I can do cardio. I can get in the woods. I can like explore deeper into the woods now than hiking. Cause I can go 10,
Yeah.
15 miles an hour instead of 3. So it's really been it's been awesome. And then, like I live near Rochester, New York, and we have just world class like trails because the Erie Canal comes through here. We have the Genesee River, which is just like this, B tier, massive industrial river that flows north. It's one of the only rivers in the world that flows north, and there's trails up and down it. So like from my house, I can put in people don't generally think of New York as a place where you can get gravel roads, and a lot of it we don't have gravel roads because of the snow that we get. They have to have, you know,
Hard pack or
um,
something on them. Yeah.
yeah, like like it would be a terrible situation to have to deal with gravel roads. So we don't have a ton, but a lot of like the off road trails that we have, like towpaths and running the Erie Canal, I can literally get on my bike, roll gravel trails to the Erie Canal Trail, and I can go from Buffalo to New York City. Like it's
Really.
So we have a ton of really cool trails there, and it's
And
just
it's nice
allowed
here
me
in
to
the
like
States too.
stay
Like
active.
when you have a clean trail, like on a bike, what I love about it is I can put a podcast in or
Hmm.
nothing or music or whatever and just kind of like go and think and not, you know what I mean? Like that, I
Yeah,
will say that's the nice thing
flow
about
state.
the gravel bike. Mountain biking is intense and you're kind of like,
Yeah.
don't die, don't die, don't die a lot of times, especially around here. It's very rocky.
Yep.
But that gravel bike's nice. So you can just turn your brain off a little bit and just get some peace
Mhm.
and quiet, you know?
Yeah, and I run, heart rate monitor, just because some of the medicine I'm on and stuff like that. I really have to kind of be cognizant of my heart rate and being able to manage my heart rate and say like, hey, I'm just gonna sit in zone 2, zone 3.
Yeah.
Like a bike is it's way easier to, for me at least, to manage hanging in like a certain range.
Yeah.
And having kind of these flat trails, they're not easy because you don't have downhill. Like, I'll go out for a 90-minute ride and I'm pedaling for 90 minutes. There's no coasting.
Yeah.
Especially when you're built like a barn, right? So like
Yeah.
but it's really allowed like in terms of like, in terms of cardiovascular health and overall health, I'm actually in the shape of my life right now because
Yeah.
it's helped, um but it's that so that's really my day, man. I try to make sure I'm strength training every day, riding my bike every day, hanging out with the kids and wife every day.
Yeah.
And I don't use the phrase blessed very often, but I feel blessed every hour that I'm able to do that. When I see other dweebs that have to put on button up shirts and go, fucking hang out. And like, I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, tell us, I mean, we haven't talked about it yet. We talked offline a little bit, but
Mhm.
let's talk about the cancer piece of your life, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I, it,
That's been the last 2.5 years of my life. I was, um, it's not common to have people like, I thought I had cancer, so I went in. I mean, it's pretty common to hear that you were caught off guard with it. Yeah, it was actually, it's going on 2.5 years ago. I was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer right out of the gate. I wasn't diagnosed at an early stage. So I've been, out of the
yeah.
gate. It was a very, I mean, just terror doesn't cover it. I mean, I saw the Reaper with my own eyes, right? And it's not something that most people have to go through. Mine was a random Thursday morning at a local doctor's office. I thought I had a hernia.
Hmm.
I thought he called me in because the imaging was going to say I was going to be minorly inconvenienced for the next 6 weeks, and I was pissed about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the doctor walked in, and he looked like Bill Murray at the end of Kingpin with his hair all flared up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I mean, he had just been stressing to come tell me because this is a local office that doesn't have to do
Yeah.
this very often, and we're personal friends too. We had been friends, just for a while. So, yeah, so there I am. So 36 years old and diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. And I didn't know what that was. I definitely had heard of colon cancer before, but I definitely thought it just meant like asshole cancer. I didn't really
Yes.
Yep.
know what that meant. Um, but it's basically, where my primary tumor is where my small intestine and my large intestine come together. So mine's intestinal.
Yeah.
Um, so had I'm actually currently, as we're sitting here speaking, on my 50th round of chemotherapy. Um,
Okay.
Recently we moved to an oral based chemo to try to see if we can slow. We had some minor progression through typical treatment, so we wanted to see if we could switch to some lesser used kind of third string pills to see if that could slow it down. Right now I have a very pissed off um mutation that seems
Hmm.
to be moving at a very slow rate, slow but powerful. Doesn't seem like much can slow it down, but it's
Yeah.
very slow. So our goal with it, I've had several surgeries now. We cut it out, and it comes back. I've met with several other, larger entities in the cancer space, and our goal is to maintain what we've just been talking about, where obviously quality of life is number one. I mean, like everybody thinks about that. What would they do if they were stuck in a bed for the next, slowly dying in a bed for 18 months? I have to like think about that. Like that's something that
Yeah.
could be coming for me. So how do I delay that as far as I possibly can? How do I, hack Mother Nature? Because this is like the shitty part of Mother Nature. We're hunters, man. We talk about this all the time. Oh, it's Mother Nature. Oh, it's
Yeah.
Darwin. It's all this. It's all that different stuff. Well, I mean, we're all kind of living it. And when it hits you in the face and you get like the name tag, because that's the thing that I have right now that a lot of people. It's weird for me to
Yeah.
say this, but our mutual friend, Glenn Eberly, the
Yeah.
founder of Eberly Stock, in chatting with him, I mean, he said that to me in one of the chats. I mean, he was diagnosed with cancer
Yeah.
3 months before me. And one thing he said is that he goes, Casey, you're never going to believe me until you see the light. But like cancer has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And I'm like, fuck you. You know, like, dude, that's
I don't
offensive.
see it.
Like,
Yep.
it's hard for me to talk to you after that.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard for me to use that same phrasing because I think it gives it a little too much, but I understand the premise. Um, and the reason I bring that up is like I have this I have a name tag on me, right? Like I went and I got stamped, like you have this. And since then I've lost 15, 20 friends in my, some close, some, oh man, I knew him. Ah,
Mhm.
they've all died, and then people fucking die. And I think that it's crazy to me, like to not, this sounds so cliche, I'm not trying to be
It's
a
cliche
motivational
because it's true
speaker
though.
right
Like
now,
those
but
things, they become cliche because they are just so true. You know what I
it's
mean?
so true, and we hear it every day now, right? I was just listening to, what's his name's podcast? The former CIA guy, what's his name? But he was saying the same thing. He's like, dude, every day I learn of a friend or a friend's friend or a family of a friend of a family that has cancer or has a serious heart concern now, or something. It's part of life, man. So I think that is really weird is that, like, a couple weeks before my diagnosis, it actually kind of came to a head, and this was not using any type of substances or anything. It was just kind of flow state, hanging out in my hot tub, talking to my wife. And it hit me in the face. I was like, I kind of need a fucking gut check right now. Cause it wasn't like I was out of control. I was just I had this like ego thing that was starting to build and I just didn't like it, but I didn't know how to kill it. And I remember
Yeah.
telling her, like, I need a fucking gut check. I need it. And I need it to come from external. Like it can't,
Yeah.
like, I need to slow down. I have this thing. And, man, I got it. It's really weird.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot. We're like, what was that? How did I kind of know that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Um,
And you're thinking it could have been a little smaller than that, right? I didn't need as
yeah,
big of a punch in the face, right?
yeah, it's exactly like, oh, okay. A strongly worded note would have worked, but
A really
okay.
good
Yeah.
note, something simple. It, and man, I think that, and we talked about this offline, but like, it's really hard for me, and I'm sure you too. I mean, I look at where you're at, and I think selfishly, as a man, you try and go, hey, Casey, as I look at you, I go, Casey's got some clarity. He has eliminated a lot of bullshit because you don't have time for it.
Mhm.
Um, right where you're at, and you go, okay, well, what from where you stand, right? You've really focused on, like you said, it's like your wife and your kids, and your fitness and your health. How has that affected just kind of like what you say no to? Because it's got to have affected when somebody calls and says, "Hey, can you do this?" You go, "Man, I'd love to say yes, and I get that, but I'm not going to say yes to that because I've got, you don't know what the time, like none of us know, right? I could leave this studio and get in a wreck and I'm done, right?
Yeah.
But
So I was trying not to interrupt you there because you said something like, you don't have time and you really don't have time. None of us do.
yeah,
Like
right.
that's the
Yeah.
point that that's like my, like, one of the core points I try to, like, instill in people when I talk to them. And this isn't like, this is a positive conversation. It may seem a little like down because we got into cancer and stuff, but it's like, man, it's like, I don't know everything, but this has taught me a lot, and I can see through people now, and I can see through obligations, and I can see through, it's like, I feel as if, one of the first people I told was, our friend Brandon Lilly. And,
Yep.
I know you had mentioned Brandon was on
Yeah,
recently,
on yesterday. Yeah, we recorded yesterday.
and I can only assume that you wanted me on afterwards so that you could get back to an English speaking guest and wouldn't have to.
Yep, exactly, exactly. I need our follower
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really be able to circle back and have
Yeah, I'd be
something.
able to circle back and be able to, like, "Oh, we got
Yeah.
American back here." Yeah, yeah. So, um, he was one of the first people I called. He's a brother of mine, and, I remember just fucking one of the first things they told me was like, "Hey, man, you have this, this, this. Um, and meanwhile, I mean, I'm still like bench, squat, dead, mountain bike, jujitsu, Muay Thai, uh, hanging from a tree stand, uh, uh, all the things, right?
Yeah.
They're like, don't like do anything. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, just like you're
Like, don't move.
don't
Don't.
move. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel? And
Yeah.
when they wait the end of the feel to you, like, how do you feel? They give you
Yeah.
one of those looks. Like, I feel fine. Okay, sit down, please. Um, one of the first things they did was they told me to just not quit activity, like quit because where my initial tumor was getting ready to rupture through into my basically getting ready to rupture out of my colon into my appendix area. Okay. And it was
Right.
kind of like sharing a wall of my appendix, and it was very, very, very thin. And, doing like a move could cause it to blow that out. And basically, they said, if I'm not in surgery in 30 minutes, I'm not making it. So one of the
Yeah.
things is like I wasn't allowed to that first summer. And mind you, I didn't tell anybody. I told 5 people the first summer. Um, just because I'm telling 10 different stories here, but like
You're good, bud.
I learned very early that when you start to tell people about something like this, you no longer get to control the narrative or the information that you get from it. Um, I'll finish that one in a second, but one of the things I realized really quickly, it's one of those core tenets we probably all think we learn we live by, but it's control what you can control. So they tell me like, "Hey, I just bought this brand new Santa Cruz high tower full suspension mountain bike." Well, you're never riding a mountain bike ever again. Okay, well, I'm getting ready to test, belt test in jujitsu and all this different stuff. Well, you're certainly not fucking rolling. Okay. What can I do? And it was like, well, you can kind of go for a walk as long as it doesn't make your heart rate go up. So I took a walk, here I am. I'm just like, hey man, I'm going to buy some walking shoes. I'm going to be a fucking old guy
That
that just
old guy
walks
just
around
walked.
now,
Yep. The New Balances.
new about 100%. Got the newbies on and I'm ready to rip, and getting some hot spots in my newbies, but it's all right. And Brandon was one of the first people I called, and I just remember like walking, and it was spring. It was like May in upstate New York. Things are starting to turn green again. And I remember talking to him and saying, like, dude, like crying, like bawling, saying, like, I wish you could see the world through my fucking eyes. Because one thing that is probably one of the biggest challenges that I deal with every day is the thought of, is this the last time I'm gonna see a bloom? Is this the last
Yeah.
time I'm gonna see mountains? You know? One of my favorite spots to go is the Adirondack Mountains, and that first summer, we were there, like, 8 times, and it was really expensive because we had to rent, like, short term, like, nobody had stuff available. We would just, like, find cabins that were available or campgrounds that were too expensive, but, and every time I leave that place, I'm like, "Hopefully I
Yeah.
see you again, man," So it's like, I live like that. We just closed up our camp. We have a camp in the southern tier of New York, and we winterized it, and I fucking, knocked on the door and said, "Man, I hope I see you in April."
Yeah.
And I think that, like, that has, to get back to your question about priorities, that has really fucking really
Yeah.
fucking, uh, correlated, how I deal with things, and that doesn't mean I'm necessarily saying no to more things. There's some things I'm saying yes to, that
Mhm.
that I would not have, but I try to live largely without bringing its name up. It's
Yeah.
kind of tough, when I have my, I'm on, like I said, I'm on chemo right now. I mean, this morning I was pretty, I had morning sickness this morning. I'm upstairs, puking in the shower, and it's like, okay, keep going. Like, just like any fight that we would have, like, another phrase I keep bringing in my head all the time is like, I don't know if you ever gotten like scuffles in high school or wrestling or anything, but it was like,
Yep.
it wasn't the bigger guy, it wasn't the smaller guy, it wasn't the stronger or the faster, it was the dude who didn't fucking quit.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
the problem, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
never understood why James whatever would always win these fights. It's because he didn't stop. Like, he just went further,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so I think that that's like one thing that right now in life, not talking about the termination of this, like thinking about what I'm doing today and how do I win today? Well, this morning I woke up. I wake up in a fist fight every day.
Yeah.
And some days it's not that bad, and we all do, right? So I'm not that much different. It's just I kind of have this branded, I know that I'm fighting Francis Ngannou right
And
now,
it's
and
dropping your feet to the floor, right?
what's that?
Um, and how do you, I mean, I think that I look at that and I don't know that everybody should live in that way, but at the same time, I kind of think to myself, like, you've tapped into this next kind of like resource of will and you know what I mean? And grit and grind and all that. And I just think like to myself, "Eh, how does somebody like me look at you and go, how do I be, how do I be more like that? You know, how do I have that same thing? Cause like that drive to survive is so strong in us. Right.
Hmm.
And I think it's probably in a lot of us, but a lot of people quit. A lot of people
Yeah,
don't do. I mean, I watch you and it's like you're riding, you're lifting, you're doing everything every day, going, I will not lose to this thing. You know what I mean? Like
you can't
it's a
take a
literal
break,
fight
man.
to the death, right? One of you is gonna
Yeah,
win.
yeah, yeah, and it's like right now I have eyes on it. It definitely sucker punched me. Um, I'm not perfect. I'm far, far from perfect, man. So that's one
Yeah.
thing I hate when I talk about this. It's like I'm obviously not like I'm still a big fat guy, but I try my best, and that really is you, every decision you have to turn left or right, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like the, what I have going on and seeing my kids and seeing that I'm still here 2.5 years later when you know I mean, dude, I'm not, I can't, we don't have to get into all that, the negative of how crazy things were. Like it was a, I was brought into the system almost like a trauma patient would be brought into, you know, like an
Mhm.
emergency situation. It
Yeah.
was quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hey, man, we're going to do our best type of deal, So 2.5 years is fucking awesome. I mean, like I
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
like super
Yeah.
clear with that, but it's like, um, every decision I have the decision to make left or right, and not all of them. I mean, there's some I'm like, bro, I'm having a couple beers tonight because that's what life's about.
Yeah.
Hey man, we're doing this, this, and this, and that's what life's about. I'm not training today because I feel like shit. But I think you know making the right decision more often has really. I've never read his books or anything, but I heard him on a podcast. Matthew McConaughey, brought up about one of the things that he likes to do is make today easier or make tomorrow easier for himself,
Yeah.
right? Do things today to make tomorrow easier. And I've really felt like that's been one of the things that I've been trying to do where it's like, just don't, set yourself up. Because I have, like I said, I wake up like on the ground with somebody holding me down. Now I have to fight my way out of it. It would have been nice if I just would have put my clothes away last night too, because now I got to
Yeah.
deal with this. Now I'm sick and I still have to put my clothes away. You
Yeah.
know, um, I so it's definitely been clarity. It's just like trying to manage fear, trying to manage anxiety, trying to manage um all these things, trying to manage um the future, purchases, investments, because what the fuck is the future, right? Um, so that's been very challenging, and that's one of my biggest fights right now is just managing like realism, and
And that
but
was sort of a, as I'm watching you talk here, I'm putting myself in your shoes and I'm thinking about, I spend as a father of two and you have two children as well. Tyrel does as well. And I think I spend so much of my time thinking about how to protect and provide for them. And so I feel like if I'm in your shoes as a father, you're in a place where you need a lot of protection and a lot of providing for you, right? And so how are you balancing with that going like, okay, you've got this protector provider energy that is your driver, right? That's why you're fighting, right? Like you're fighting because you want to be who you are to them more. It's not, I'm sure it's less selfish about you wanting to go see one more thing, but it's like, I want to
Yeah.
be here for my kids tomorrow when I wake up. And I
Mhm.
still want to be the father that's protecting and providing for them. But at the same time, like you have legitimate needs where you need to be protected and provided for as well. And so like how do you balance that when you say, "Hey, I need help." And that's not our role as men typically to raise our hand and say, "Hey, I'm kind of beat up here. Like if you wouldn't mind." And I know because I went through a very minor, comparatively minor foot surgery, but when I can't stand up, I can't feed myself. I can't walk around the house and, my daughter's driving me places and somebody cuts her off and my instinct is like, I'm going to fucking jump out and fight this guy. And I'm like, I can't fight this guy. I, I can't even get myself out of the car. And so it was an interesting place to put myself, but I look at you and I go, how are you balancing that? Like that primal piece of you that is provider protector for your family. And then at the same time, knowing like I've got this other fight going on over here that requires my
Mhm.
time and energy, and sometimes I need help from others.
I'll tell you, that's a really, really hard one because it's like I wasn't brought up that way. You know, I've met. I don't know how to say this without sounding inconsiderate. Uh, I've met some people with similar situations, similar diagnoses that apparently were brought up that way,
Mm,
and asking for help or relying on help is not is not a problem for them. Um, I've also seen them not last the way that me and a handful of people in my little circle of other people with cancer, have made it.
yeah,
I'll say the number one thing, and this goes from like me starting a business to growing the business and maintaining the business to into this cancer deal dude, my wife is is made of granite.
yeah,
I often think like she may have the harder position,
I agree.
you
And I'm
know.
not trying to take away from you, but
No, no, no.
if I had to choose, obviously, like, you know what I mean? If I had to pick, like, in my family who has to get sick, it's me every time. I'll take it.
Yep,
You know what I mean? I've told people this. I would die 1,000 times a day if it meant that it would make my family, you know what I mean, safe
yep.
and healthy, right?
So
And
that's um about 3 months after my diagnosis, my father-in-law, my wife's dad, had a major stroke. We almost lost him. Uh, so I'm standing there, she's helping me. This is at the time I was on traditional chemo. I mean, I have a port in my chest right here, that I would go get a day's worth of infusions, and then I would leave with a pack on my side for 3 days, and it was just great because you can come home, where 10
right,
years ago, you would just be in the hospital for 3 days.
right.
And I have, all these lines coming off me with this battery pack, and it's like daddy's on chemo, and
Yeah,
I'm there, and I'm on chemo, and we get a call, "Hey, your dad was at work and crashed his truck, and he's out. We don't know what's going on. They took him to Strong, and they think he had a stroke. He's unresponsive." Like, so here, her husband is is hooked up to chemo for stage 4 cancer, and then he so for her to be able to continue to be the support system that I fucking need too.
yeah.
um it's this sounds like, again, sounds cliche, like, oh, like, it's real, man. So like, I got really lucky in choosing a partner based purely off of looks one night.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah, yep,
but it was like that's been, and then so now, fast forward. I don't want to get too deep, but now the same man, her father-in-law, or her father, my father-in-law, was recently diagnosed with lung cancer as well.
No.
So in our basically in our household, my wife's husband and father are both fighting this fucking disease, right? So um we've been able to, we didn't do the GoFundMe thing because it wasn't, we weren't going to lose our home or anything like that. I mean, luckily I have good health insurance for the things that health insurance will cover.
Yeah.
I did do some fundraising with some t-shirts and some stickers and some banners and stuff that really helped. I had a major surgery. They call it the mother of all surgeries. It's called the HIPEC procedure. They basically call you the human canoe, because they cut you open completely, take all of your insides out, check everything for cancer. Cut half of it out. I lost a quarter of my liver. My stomach lining has cancer spots all through it, so they have to cut and burn my stomach lining to try to cut those things out.
Yeah.
Put everything. I was on the table for 11 hours. Put everything back in me. I have a scar from my groin to right here. It was like
Yeah.
70 staples or something. Um, so through that, I had to live in Pittsburgh because they're the only ones that would do it. Nobody else would take me as a patient. So I um, went to Pittsburgh for it, and through that, my wife and I had to live there for almost a month away from our kids, in my rehab. So raising some money for that was like, a month in an Airbnb is not cheap in downtown Pittsburgh,
No.
right? So that was like a fucking godsend, man. I mean, so I had people I don't know drop me $200, and I'm white trash from Pennsylvania, man. I had people that I know. This is probably the first time I'm gonna get choked up. I grew up in a small town in Western Pennsylvania that there's only about 10 last names, you know. I know there was last names on that list that donated $25 to me,
Yeah.
and I know they don't have $25.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like my like Pennsylvania family, like this little like redneck Appalachian little town I had, like, I mean, this is a pencil. I mean, this is the Keystone State, Pennsylvania. Like, what it did for like my soul to just not have to worry about, the $7,000 house bill, to
Yeah.
not have to worry about where my wife was going to, because I was in ICU for 10 days.
Yeah.
Um, to know that she can get food by herself. I mean, that's normally like we do it together. Or like, this is back to your point. Like, that was one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me, to see like my little community step up and just say like, "Here, we got this." Um, and it's just I don't even know how to say thank you for that, because I've never been one to get. No one's ever given me $250. It's been me. Like
Yeah.
I bought my own first truck. I bought my own.
Yeah.
It's really hard to ask for. But I actually did it all myself, which is kind of a challenging thing. It wasn't a GoFundMe. It was like, um, my artist that works for me at, with Tactic Calories, and he's also the guy that has done quite a bit of the illustrations for Montana Knife Company's apparel, and
Yeah.
Storenex, and a lot of other he designed a rad um scene for one of these sayings that I have called "Make Your Own Heat." Uh, and he's, so we were able to sell that, and be able to pay for everything. So that's the big one. But again, to kind of circle back to my wife, it's just being lucky enough to have a partner that's made of fucking granite, because if I'm on an airplane and there's turbulence, I shut down. Like, I can't
Yeah.
imagine,
She's
she,
she's your rock in that. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. exactly. But
How do
everyone sees
you
the big tattooed, bearded, 300-pound tough
uh-huh.
guy, you know? Fuck all that, dude, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you I mean, I think as I sit here, I mean, maybe not to wrap up or quit talking about that, but I have there's a yeah, there's a lot going on that I wanna hear about from you, but as a brother, right? Um, us men aren't always good. I think something we do poorly is we'll send a text that says, "Hey, man, if you need anything, reach out."
Mhm.
Right? And I think all 3 of us sitting here know if somebody texts us says, "If you need anything, reach out." I'm not reaching out. I'm not gonna call you and go, "I need this," or "I need that," right?
Yeah.
From your perspective right now, how could us men do a good job of taking care of our brothers when they are going through stuff? Is just sending a text saying, "Hey, if you need something, holler." Like, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it just isn't ever gonna be anything. It means nothing. I'm sure, yeah, I appreciate that you reached out, but, like, how do we do a better job of really actually supporting our brothers in this, man? Like,
I'll tell
that
you,
I think we're bad at it. Women are better at this than we are. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could bring you a brisket or something, you know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yeah,
But, like, from
there's
your
a woman
perspective,
in the
it's not easy for you to answer because you're gonna say, "No, I'm good." But if you took that away and you let go of that and say, "Here's how you can love all your boys that are going through hard shit," what would you say?
I'll tell you, so being on this side, I've received a lot of this that I just for the first time in my life, you know? I mean,
Yep.
uh, I've seen some people do it really well, and I've seen some people do it really poorly. Um, if you talk this is not what you're asking, but I need to fit this in here. If
Please
you're
do.
talking to somebody with cancer, especially if it's a fresh diagnosis, we don't need to hear the story about your brother's uncle that died of the same thing you have. We don't need to hear that.
Please don't say that. Yeah.
That was the very first person I ever told about my diagnosis. Their response was, "Oh fuck, my boy just died from that." And this was like 3 days after diagnosis. I didn't even have a chemo poured in or anything, and I was like, that was what made the decision to not tell anybody, because like, I can't deal with that on a Tuesday morning. I'm just gonna fucking shut it down, deal with it on my own, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 So it reminds me a lot of like if you have a buddy, if you like meet somebody that's a cop, you're like, "Oh, do you work with Brian Trainer? He's a cop down," you know, like everybody has like
Yeah.
their cop story or
Yeah.
has to like it's bizarre. It's like
Yep.
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
to do it.
Guys, hey, thanks. We lost service there for a minute, so coming back in, gonna pick up. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty across the country there, but Casey, um, sorry about that. But if you can pick up, we were just talking a little bit about
Yeah, so
just how we can do a better job of taking care of our boys when they're going through stuff.
sorry, I was streaming SummerSlam 1998 also on my other monitor here, so it might have messed up the internet connection.
You can't miss out on that.
Yeah.
98, who would have been that main event?
I don't know. I'd probably
Okay. I
I'm
thought
not
that had the
I
significance.
don't know why I'm talking about wrestling so much today with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
you
even
got me thinking that, like, I've never gone and watched that, and I know it's one of those things that's, like, probably in life, you probably should at least go watch one live because who
yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there's really something to that, but I've never gotten at all interested in
Yeah.
I've uh I've watched a lot more in like the last probably 2 years. Like with McAfee coming around
Yeah.
WWF or
Yeah.
E and it's fun. Me and the wife, we've had some good times just sitting on the couch, like just getting immersed into it. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it seems like quite a like if you're into it. I mean, the storyline. I know there's some that are like 12-year-old storylines that are playing out, right? Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, crazy. Brian, if you could, so I didn't hear what you had said. I mentioned about the bad way, right? And it was like I said
yes.
I have a couple guys that were brothers, and my kids called them uncle, and they dipped out. Like I have,
Right.
I've texted them 13 times. Hey man, do you want to come over and watch UFC? Nah, man. So it's like,
Yeah.
um, and you had responded. I didn't hear what you had to say.
Yeah, so what I was touching on a little bit, and I'm dancing around something I don't know if I completely understand, but instinctively, it tells me that it takes a lot of guts. I've never struggled with this because I'm very okay jumping in the deep end with my dudes. Like that's kind of where I tend to shine, and I'm down with that, right? Like if you're in it, like
Yeah.
I'm let's go. It doesn't scare me one bit, but I think for other guys, I think that it's either they never had to deal with that themselves, they get scared by the hard part, and they just wanna be on the fun part and the easy, the good time kinda Charlie thing, but it takes a certain amount of courage, I think, for us to step into that with our boys and go, "Yeah, you're gonna go through this. There's gonna be loss. There's gonna be pain in
Mm.
this." And, I think just what I think a big piece I'd love to see guys come out of with your conversation is how us people, us men that are watching our brothers go through these things, uh, can do a better job of showing up, right?
Well,
Because Brandon said something yesterday we talked, he said, just a statement he said of, a friend calling him and go, "Man, like, I love you and I'm proud of you," you know?
mhm.
And it's whatever, 5 words, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but it's just it's a one sentence that I think, is so needed from us men to say to other men, and it sounds weird to tell another grown man, "Hey, I'm proud of you," but it's okay to say that, and it's definitely encouraged to say, "I love you,"
Mhm.
and, "Man, I'm really proud of who you are as a man," you know?
Yeah.
I
Um,
don't think we do a good job, so how can we do
and
better about taking care of our people?
yeah, and like so to contrast that, it's like I see somebody that I look at as who's done just an exceptional job of just uh, being there. It's like it's almost weird. It's like you open the door and he's there type of guy, like is my shirt here, Volkortson Firearms. It's Scott Volkortson. Um, I don't know if he has like an administrative assistant that manages like when he needs to text people, and that's fine if that's how you need to manage it. Actually, I encourage people to be that, but like,
Yeah,
hey man, how like he doesn't just say, "Hey, how are things going?" Because I'm to the
yeah,
point now where if you ask me that, I don't answer because like
right.
that's not me being rude. It's just like, dude, I don't know what you fucking want me to say. you know,
Yeah,
I'm not sure you
yeah,
want the answer that I'm going to provide. Um,
yeah,
and I don't have time to like, and I hate to be like that because it's like I appreciate it, but it has to be a little deeper than that, Scott will randomly text and be like, "Hey, how was your daughter's volleyball game the other day?" Because he
yeah,
saw that I posted on my story that I was at the volleyball game. Hey, did she win? Not even how was it? Like, hey, how many points did she score? Um, makes me feel like it's like it ends up like I'm excited, gets me excited. And we talked about my daughter. She's kicking ass.
mhm,
Like, hey, what's this equestrian thing she's doing? Is she like on a league or something? Like, be fucking real.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I understand that,
yeah,
like, asking, like, "Hey, man, how you doing? How you been?" That's it. That's cliche conversation, and it's oftentimes an icebreaker. People don't know what's too much to ask with me, which I get. They're respecting boundaries. But my wife and I both agree, like, Scott's top tier when it comes to that. Like, it's not and dude, another guy, Duncan Butler,
yeah,
you know?
Dunkin' Donuts, dude.
Um, it just feels real. They may be the same questions, but it's not just, "How's it going?"
Yeah,
You know? Um,
yeah.
I'm not
And Duncan does
great
a
at
good
doing
job. I
that.
talked to him the other day and he goes, "Man, pray for me. I applied for a big job." You know what I mean? And I literally told him, I was like, "Dude, I literally will. I
Yeah.
will do that," you know?
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah," he's like, "It's weird. I had another friend I talked to and I said that and the guy was like, what do you mean, man? What do you want me to do?" You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Duncan's just like, "Dude, I just, you just want to know that people are in your corner,
Uh-huh.
right? In whatever way that shows up for somebody."
So
But,
with, like, a
I did
good
the
a
same
good
thing, man.
situation
I
with
check in,
that,
"Hey, what have you heard?" You know?
yeah, like, a good example for that this is what and I'm terrible at it too, I'm not good at it, but, if somebody says, "Hey, I put in for a big boy job and let's see how it goes," put it in your fucking phone to text him on Thursday and ask him, "What's the deal? Did you hear back from him
Yeah,
yet?" And then forget about it. But on Thursday when it pops up, actually do it. That's something
yep,
I've really utilized is like, somebody says their daughter's birthday is in 2 weekends, I'll just put it in my phone, be like, "Hey, it's homeboy's daughter's birthday. Make sure you, like,
Yeah.
check in and kinda just make a call." That has been, and then it's, like, out of your mind space. You don't have to remember about your boy's daughter's birthday, but you put it in your phone and you just forget about it, and then when it pops up, just do the little thing and truly wonder how, truly look into it. How was it? Um, that's been super helpful, and it's like, and Scott kinda taught me how to do that, and his follow-ups are, like, incredible. Not annoying, not like, that doesn't mean in 2 weeks, "How are you today?" They're real, so
Yeah.
he showed me how to do that, and I'm not great at it, right now it's like I'm pretty self-centered. I
Yeah.
got a lot
And you
going
should be.
on. Um, so I'm not probably a great friend, but
That's not what my question was, though.
no, no, I
My
understand. No,
question is, how do we live? How do when our friends are in the space where you are, where you're supposed to be holding your space for yourself, how do we do a better job of loving you? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I don't think, like I said, we don't do a good job of that. So I think that's my question is like, I know you're not going to want to answer it entirely because it's just, it puts you in a spot, but I think it's good advice for us, to go, how do we do a better job, man?
Yeah. Um, I mean, obviously, like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like, it's kind of like, I do like to spend, and not everybody's like me, but I like to spend a lot of time not thinking about cancer. Right. So,
Yeah.
I think that it starts to be a challenge with me when that is the only thing that people kind of reach out to see how I'm doing. I definitely care a lot more about my wife and kids than I do, um, cancer. Right. So, let's talk about that. And I think that that's like one thing that really helps me is like, if you can see I'm proud of my family and kind of what they're
Yeah.
doing, maybe read the room and discuss that. And I understand that it comes from love. Like, people want to know how I'm fucking doing, dude. you know,
Yeah.
I think I have a really unique case that I'm kind of living through it, and um, I'm able to speak, and I'm not, I'm still able to do a lot of the things that I like to do. So it's very interesting. The other thing with that is be honest. With me, I don't like beating around the bush. It's not that I hate saying I don't have time, but like, if you catch me, like, ask me what you're asking, and I would love to answer it. I've
Yeah.
talked to you right now for an hour without letting you say a word about my situation. I like talking
Yeah.
about it because I think that it would be, because I look back before this, and one of the more recent ones was Glenn Eberly, but I put myself in his shoes and I said, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, bro. And it was really interesting to watch. There's a cyclist that I follow that I remember he posted up. He said, he goes, "I got a pulmonary embolism." And I just remember being like, what would I do if I got a pulmonary embolism and I had to do this and this? And dude, fast forward, at Winterstrong, when you and I were talking in the field right there, I had a pulmonary embolism that I didn't know about. I found out the Monday I got back from Winterstrong this year, you know?
What?
Yeah. Like, I remember seeing that cyclist and being like, how would I even live life? You know, it was really interesting to me. And that's like kind of what like makes me really think about, like, I don't know if I'm putting out enough content about what I'm doing and what I'm living, because I was always really interested in people that were facing chronic illness and were able to like get through it. I lost my mom when she was 44 from complications with diabetes and then everything else. And I always think like how hard she worked up until so it's like always been like kind of one of those things that I really respected. When like that dude posted that he had a pulmonary embolism, I'm like, I'm watching this whole series to see him overcome like a true fucking problem. So that always makes me wonder. It's like maybe I'm not doing enough on my end to show kind of the day to day what I deal with and what I have overcome, because I think it could be educational. I just tend
It
to
is.
like feel like it may be a little narcissistic. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it can get
Yeah.
to feel that way. And get to feel that way for sure. But I think it serves a lot of other people, and I think, and I feel bad that we've talked so much about it too. But I think it's out of curiosity. I want to learn. I want to know. When you go, hey, you've been to the edge, you've seen over the edge, and I want to hear what you saw over there. And so it's selfish for me, Casey. But I genuinely want to know, like, there's so much to learn, right, from where you're at and go, like,
Mhm.
I can be better, I can do better. And Casey's got some wisdom because he's had to really look at life and go, what's important and what's not. And I knew what the answer would be. If you've got two kids and it's the kids, it's my wife, and
Mhm.
it's, making sure I take care of getting my shit together, knowing like we all should know, like, I'm not going to be here forever to take care of these guys. You don't know if you're going to see your son be 13, 14,
Yeah.
15, 16,
Mhm.
or your daughter, but you've got to give them everything you can try and give them, you know, by the time, because, I think that we all assume my son will figure X, Y, and Z out by watching me and I'll be there for that moment. But I'm sure now you're going, okay, I've got to give all these nutrients,
Yeah.
to this
That dude,
plant.
that can drive you like that in and of itself is enough to drive me to almost relapse and like knock it out of bed because that list of like, well, did I teach him
Yeah.
how to do this? Did I teach him how to string a bow? Did I teach him how to do it? It's like, that's what I thought it would be like.
Yeah.
It's really like hasn't been because I'm like, that is like rooted in anxiety and like trying to like beat the system.
Yep.
You're trying to like beat mother nature, I guess, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how it works. Like, there's not a, like, well, let me make sure I taught them everything, like that's not, that's not real. Um, and I think that that's probably, I'm getting ready next week. A week from today, I'll be, well, I don't know exactly how I'm getting there yet. I know I'll be landing in or around Denver in 1 week from today
Yep.
to go on my first elk hunt with Brandon and the
Thank
Montana
you.
Knife.
You beat me to it because that was for sure coming up.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and the reason I bring that up right now is like, I have two ways to do this. And this is kind of my that anxiety piece is where where I want to talk about. Because right now it's like I have problem. I'm like I'm couch locked a lot of times, right? Because I do not know how much time I have. None of us do. Remind you. Um, but I don't want to leave for a weekend because like
Yeah.
that's what if I have 10 weekends left? What if I have
Yeah.
50 weekends left? Like 200 week.
Does it feel selfish then to you that you're going to,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, like missing a fucking volleyball game. Like missing a volleyball practice for any
yeah,
reason that is not like the president showed up and he has something to talk to you about.
yeah. Or
It
if the
feels
president did
selfish.
show up, you'd probably be like, that's cool, but I got to go to volleyball practice,
Yeah. And they,
right?
the phrase like, the king eats first or like the lion eats first type of thing. And it's like, I have to remember that there are days that like, if I haven't, gotten cardio in 2 to 3 days, and the only time I can do it is to miss Muay Thai practice, I have to do this, you know,
Yeah,
because, back to that like left or right decision that I have to make.
yeah,
I feel like every decision's fucking dire now because it may be. So there's pros and cons there, but the reason I bring up the elk hunt is not only because like I can't talk about, I'm like I can't even speak because of how excited I am to this opportunity,
yeah,
but I have two options. So one, MKC hooked me up with first class flights from Buffalo to Denver. It's a 3 hour flight. I just jump on the
yep,
flight, I get there,
yep,
and and or the second thing I just kind of thought about the other day is like I was looking at like because I was talking to Jason Ellsworth. Do you know him? Ellsworth. Yep.
oh yeah,
So I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah," he goes, because he's in Austin right now, and he's gonna be driving.
yeah.
He's from Rochester area.
And he worked with you for
Yep,
a year or so.
yep,
That's how we met, me and Jason. Yeah,
yep, yep. Yeah, he and I have been buddies for a while. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm driving from down there, basically, Austin, like West Texas, back to Rochester in a couple weeks." And I was like, "Huh. Well, that is kind of one of these things I'm trying to figure out. Is like, okay, I shoot an elk. How am I getting the meat home? how am I getting, hopefully, a Euro mount like that's hanging behind you right there? How do I get
Yep.
it home? All these different things. I mean, you know, 2-daying 4 Yetis full of meat is going to cost me $3,000
Yeah.
in freight.
Yeah.
Um, what if I just drive? And I'm like, but okay, so it's 3 to 4 day trip to drive from upstate New York to New Mexico. But when I plotted it out on on the map, literally where I would be midday every day is one of 4 of the gravel bike meccas of the country. So I'm like, what if I leave and take a 4-day trip and every day stop and ride my bike for an hour and a half in these places that I'll never, like, when the fuck am I
Yeah.
ever going to just be in Stillwater, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why don't I just do that? So I'm like talking to my wife, and now it takes a 6-day hunt trip that I was already like, I don't want to be away from my kids for 6 days. 4 days there, 4 days to drive home after this hunt, if I'm
Yeah.
lucky. Now it's a 2-week that I'm going to be gone, you know? That anxiety for me, and I'm sure every dad has it, every mom has it, but that anxiety for me now is like eating me alive, because I'm like, I think the benefit of, say I live another fucking 30 years, I'll still remember that random time I stopped and rode my bike in
Yeah.
Stillwater, Oklahoma. Because it's crazy how it lines up, because like one is um north of Columbus, Ohio, there's this awesome state park. The second one is like the Ozarks in Missouri.
Yeah.
The third one is Stillwater, Oklahoma, and then the fourth is in Amarillo, Texas. There's this canyon that has awesome. So it's going to be like, it's also like all like the environments of the country. I'm like going down through them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm like, maybe I don't know, man. Just so that's kind of what I'm dealing with, is like the anxiety of leaving, where I take a 6-day trip and turn it into like a fucking 13-day trip.
Yeah.
Um, my wife's like, just go. I'm like, God, just put up a fight a little bit with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I need
Yeah.
like so
Yeah. 'Cause it feels selfish even when you are, you know, in you're living a normal life. I have the same experience where you go, God, if I can fly, I can save a day. 'Cause again, you don't want to miss any one thing, right? Like my daughter had powder puff, which
yeah,
there was like 15 parents in the stands of all these girls, and I'm like, who would ever miss this?
yeah,
What parent would ever not come to this?
exactly.
Your daughter is doing something, it's absurd, it's dumb, but there was nobody in the stands,
Yeah,
and I'm like, "I can't believe, like, what the fuck else could you be doing at 7 o'clock on a Monday night?"
yep,
I had Broncos tickets, and I'm like, I gave them away.
yeah.
I'm like, "I don't give a shit about those guys,
I
like, I'm gonna
love
watch my
that.
little girl." And that wasn't even I never even thought about it. It wasn't a decision I had to make. It was just a thing. You go, yeah, those, $180, whatever. I don't give a shit. Um, but I get you where you go, I don't want to miss one little thing. And you see it a lot with dads now where I'm at the age where our kids are, juniors and seniors. Well, I have an eighth grade and a junior, but you see the dads now that are in the hunting space, especially where their kids are in that junior, senior year of high school, and they're starting to bag hunts. Like, hey, I'm not going to be able to go this year. My kid's got a math test. It doesn't matter. They
Yeah,
just don't want to miss anything. You're just holding on to everything. So I completely get that. But at the same time, this thought for me where I go, um, yeah, but for you, this is a thing that I don't know if we get to take those memories with us or not
yeah,
after this life is
right.
over. And so that's the debate. Like, well, I don't get to, what can we take? And it's more about not what you're taking, but what you're leaving with the kids. But I think also, Casey, there's times when your kids need to see you
Yeah,
continue to adventure. They need to see us continue to chase that, for me is a blue belt right now, or,
mhm,
a purple or whatever. Like, I think that as far as what the lessons we want to like have them learn, I think one of the lessons is seeing dad do things that scare dad,
mhm,
seeing dad go on adventures and go with friends and do that. Right. And
yeah.
so they're going to learn.
My daughter is so into the fact that I'm going on an elk hunt. Like, she's talking.
Oh yeah.
She's my son's not super into it. Like, he'd probably hunt. I mean, I think it'll eventually come around, but
Yeah.
yeah, my daughter's like, I want to bring back like a hoof for her. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's funny, my son's the same way. He's not real into it. My daughter's like, "Yeah, I'll go hunting with you,"
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And it's always the father, you have these kids, you think my boy's gonna be this and my girl's gonna be that, but,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say. So, I mean, it's
And I just
what are
think
you
back,
thinking,
like,
man? Are you gonna
I think back to like, so we do this thing every year. I call it my dirtbag week, but my my wife and my kids go with my sister-in-law to Disney. And I went the first year and I was like, cool, Disney's neat, but
I've seen it, I'm good.
yeah, I'm
Yep,
all set, you know.
yep,
But they love it. I mean, they love it. So they go down there for like a week, and then what I usually do is I take my bikes and my dog, and I go up to the Adirondack Mountains, and I usually just like don't have a plan. So this year I had a meeting, I had an appointment at the cancer center in Boston. So I like just happened to be the day they were flying to Disney. They had an appointment available, so I'm like, cool deal. So it's 6 or 7 hours over to Boston, and I just was like, I purposely like don't want to have a plan. So I got
yeah,
out. You know, it was only like a 30-minute appointment. I walk out and I'm downtown Boston. I'm like, now what do I do? All right, I Google where Guy Fieri has been in Boston. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
Yeah.
go eat like the best Reuben I've ever had. And then I'm like, dude, I've never really like spent much time in New Hampshire, but I know a lot of people think it's badass. So I just like Google good place to camp in New Hampshire and just drove 3 hours to Lincoln, New Hampshire. And then, did you want to hear the coolest part about that? I just ended up doing that whole week just without a plan, which, as
yeah,
somebody who's had like a big boy job since I was like 14, and then
right.
college, and then like kind of a young family, I don't get that very often. This doesn't seem, to some people, this is going to seem like, you know, like I was talking to Ellsworth the other day, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't have an emergency contact right now, you know. So for
Yeah,
me, it's pretty uncharacteristic of me to just go. And but dude, so I end up randomly just picking like Lincoln, New Hampshire, because I was like in my mind as somewhere to go. Well,
right.
here, then as I started driving, I was like, oh yeah, that's like it's like the hub before the White Mountains. And so like where I camped, you can literally like see Mount Washington and all this different stuff. Um, but it's the I literally camped at the spot of the first recorded UFO abduction in the country.
Nice.
It's the
Yes.
coolest thing. I like taking photos. You know, I was like being like but the reason I bring that up is like, so I do that, and then it's like, dude, I'm swimming in the Penny River, and then I go through Vermont, and I took like the fucking uh um what's it called, like the ferry where you like park your truck on the ferry, you drive right up onto a ferry across Lake Champlain to New York to do the Adirondack, like all these things like I would never have had time to do. When I'm
Right.
done with that week, I come back and I am like, it's the best medicine I've ever had, you know, because it's like I'm swimming in cold
Yeah,
water, I'm doing weird shit, I'm scaring myself, like nobody knows I'm in this river right now, and here I am, this
yeah,
frail cancer patient, you know. uh, I need to do that, and if I fucking
yeah,
drown in a river, then I drown in a river. Cool, dude. If I fuck,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, so that's where it's like I don't know. I need to decide in the next like day if I'm going to do it or not, because what sounds terrible is my guide is texting me right now that it looks like we might be getting rain now.
Yeah,
That scares me. 4 days of cold rain and then have to drive 4 days home. It's gonna be,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's literally a 3 to 4 day drive, you know. So
yeah.
um
Where are you guys hunting in New Mexico?
um um northeast of Santa Fe. I forget the town, but I've never been anywhere in the southwest. So I'm excited, man. I mean, they're
Give me a guided hunt, rifle hunt then, this time of year?
yep, it's a rifle hunt. And
Okay.
dude, Dana that works at SIG, you know, Dana Monroe.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
she reached out to me after Winter Storm and was like, you know, do you have a rifle to hunt out there? I was like, maybe.
yeah.
She's like, well, we want to make sure you have a badass one. So that should
When
be,
Dana called, you just say, "No, I have no rifles, I have no pistols,
I
I
don't
have
have it.
nothing,
Yeah. This whole
nothing."
firearm
Go
thing, I would
for it.
love to learn how to get into.
I'd love to learn how to shoot something, yeah.
So I actually just got a FedEx notification that I think the scope and scope rings just got delivered. And my FFL will probably be giving me a call tonight. They hooked me up with a Sawtooth, a 300 Win Mag.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking pumped. I've never shot it, so hopefully I can get out there. But that's the other thing is like also driving. I know it's not a big deal to fly with a rifle, but TSA is going to be
Yeah.
closed next week.
Yeah.
So it could be a big deal, you know,
It could be a really big deal. Yeah.
flying out of New York, which New York, I mean, a rifle, we're a bolt action rifle, we're probably just fine with, but
Yeah.
there's just a lot of things that it's like, man, why the fuck not? You know, I don't know. So that's a
It'll be an
big
adventure,
decision.
eh?
What's that?
It'll be an adventure. Yeah.
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 And that's what we're doing this
Man.
for, right? Like I'm not doing it to hurry, but like, I mean, it'll be fine. My wife's like, you're not going to be, you don't do anything anyway. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you're going to be just fine, you know, like, so she's going to have to take the dog out more.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
fine. So,
Yeah. Yeah. The drive makes it, and it is that time. It's that quiet time. It's that mental space of being on the road. I tend to like it, especially on a hunt,
mm-hmm.
you know. Obviously it's more fun getting to the hunt than it is going home because now all the fun is over and it's just you're tired and it's time to get there. But that's part of it too, man. It's just seeing that country and like you said, it's so good for us to get out there and have that quiet space, you know,
Yeah, you
on
said
a
be
on a
scared, do some weird shit you know, like, dude,
yes.
do weird shit, you know, like be
Yep.
alone in the middle of the
Yep.
Ozarks riding a fucking gravel bike, you know, like, yeah,
Yep.
be weird.
Yep. Well, dude, it's and kind of like we've been talking, time is precious. You've given us a lot of it this morning already. Um, I really, like I said, I knew we would talk about the cancer a lot. I know when we were at Winter Strong, we had some good kind of deep conversations, and I just want you to know that like it's selfish on my part, man. I apologize for spending so much time on that, but genuinely, that perspective and how we can do a better job of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our brothers. That's a big deal to me, and so I appreciate you taking the time today to help educate us a little bit, dude. And give us
Mhm.
perspective, and hopefully we can give back to you in some way too. But it's it is a unique space. It's a scary space, but I think that you've done a really good job of handling it, and really and being really powerful in that too, and kicking the shit out of it. So it's inspiring on our end. I'd encourage you to keep sharing stuff, man, because it's inspiring to see, and I think it's just good for us men to see, another guy going through that and going, hey, like this is how I'm gonna handle my shit, and but I also think at the same time, like, I would like to encourage other guys, like, don't be afraid to love on your dudes in a genuine
Yeah.
way, not just a, "Hey, if you need something, holler," That's just a chicken shit thing, I think, to say, and so, dude, I appreciate the time and energy today as we kinda get ready to wrap up, but I mean, anything else you got that you wanna drop on us, man, from where you sit, I'll listen, you know?
But thank you, man. I appreciate that. I respect the hell out of you and um everybody in your circle. So I appreciate both of you guys' time. It's it's an honor, and I appreciate you sticking with me. I'm not very good at taking the time to do podcasts. I like doing them.
Yeah,
I like talking about myself. Um, I just don't do it, you know. So thanks for
yeah,
sticking with me and not getting annoyed. Honestly, man, the only thing I keep thinking is just because it's like if there are other men that have been kind of indoctrinated with the same concepts that we all have been fed over the last couple years, I think it's really important to me to remind people that, um, I think that you've kind of alluded to like the mental health, not even mental health, but like more like the emotional side, which is arguably the more challenging side. But I think back to myself, I remember the day I was diagnosed and being like, man, if I just listened to this, like, and this is no shade on Jocko, you know, but I remember I
yep,
had been like listening to like a Jocko podcast or one of those, Cam Haynes, um, David Goggins. If I had been if I had just listened to one of those guys about like just gritting through it and just like dealing with pain and just
Yeah.
deal with it, just swallow, get the fucking lid down there,
Yep.
like
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
I
Yep.
imagine I'm a metaphor guy. Everything you say to me, I'm like thinking of a metaphor for. But so it's like it's packing your problems into your fucking, you're getting ready to fly and you're just gonna check a bag and you're trying to jam everything in there like, and I see that as like the problems I was having prior to my diagnosis. I'm like, dude, it hurt in my gut, but not like terminal illness pain. It just hurt like, and dude, I let it go for like a month and a half. That month and a half could have bought me, and that's even a short term. I know people that have had like, you know, oh, I get a little like, blood in my shit, which I never had any of that. But if something's not right, this is the point. I'll try to like bring it all together. If something isn't right, we're all pretty like, I'll be in a parking lot and I'm like, there's something weird about that car. Yep, turns out there was something weird about that car, right? Like if there's something weird about your body and there's something weird about what you think is going on, we keep talking all this whole thing about like being here for my kids and you being, that's I'd do anything for my kids. Then you hear this left and right. Well, then do something about the problems that you see. I hear every day, I have people that try to tell me about how bad chemo is and how bad, because they listen to Joe Rogan and all this different stuff. I listen to it too. I'm a consumer of it. How bad the medical system is and how bad, like, but the amount of fucking angels I've met on the ground
Yeah.
level that have helped me maintain where I'm at, the nurses I deal with every day, they're not the devil, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctors that are helping me right now do the best that they fucking can. And I believe that like on their level, I'm not talking government conspiracy, Bayer versus like,
Yeah.
I'm talking the people that I see now 50 rounds worth. I've gotten blood work 300 times now at this local place in 2 years. I know I've seen them more than I see my fucking kids. They aren't the
Yeah.
devil. They aren't evil. They're not out to get you. And I think that that's one of the challenges is that frustrates me is that I do listen to the same things that everybody else listens to. Trust me, man. Right now I'm looking, I don't want to like get your podcast banned, but right now I'm looking into ivermectin. I'm looking into Fenben. I've had consultations with doctors that prescribe this stuff. I have a friend that's really, I'm looking into the alternative stuff. I've used alternative therapies, but I think we need to slow our fucking roll because I think that a lot of us could have challenges that could be bitten earlier
Yes.
and not be diagnosed at stage 4 because that's how cancer, they always say like early detection. Well, if the government is a conspiracy, black helicopters trying to take my, like it's going to keep people out of this. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of, I'm on both sides of the fence, man. I get it. Trust me. I get it. But if you have a fucking problem, go there and have some sense and understand that you don't have to do anything. No one's forcing a needle in my arm ever. I've had every
Yeah.
decision. They came to me and they said, "Hey, let's do this and this." And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that." They also
Yep.
said we can't do that. I went and found the place that would do the surgery. They wouldn't do the surgery. They were not trying to sell the surgery to me. I went and sought it out and I spent $20,000 out of my own money because it was in Pittsburgh and it's a blah, blah, blah. So that's one thing that's kind of, it lays heavy on me every time I hear about how bad the medical system are. The doctors, the nurses, the techs, the dude that brings you the lunch, they're not the fucking devil. They're in large, they're there to help you. If you have a problem, go try to get it taken care of. Just use your wits, be your own advocate. Go in with a plan and don't change it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's I think that that's the other thing is guys aren't good at is taking care of ourselves.
Mhm.
Something feels a little off. Doesn't mean you go to the doc every week or whatever, but I mean, it's go in and get it checked out, man. It's not that expensive. I've had some of that where an MRI is just, I cash paid for
Yeah.
one because I was curious. It's
Yeah.
$600,
Yeah.
you know? And now you have the answers,
Yeah.
right? And I did the same thing with my foot. It was a year and a half of tendons completely torn out of my ankle.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to tough guy it. And my chiro buddy was like, dude, just let me here, go get this done. It was actually 500 for that
Yep.
one. And yeah, it's like, all right, well, it's all shit,
Sucks. Yeah.
You got nothing in there. I'm for surgery. And it's like, and then because I didn't go in right away, I had to have cadaver tendons put in because
Yep.
what was left of what I had was so far gone, and it's just, yeah, it's like there's a balance there, and it's just, but yeah, if you do care about your kids, take care of yourself,
Mhm.
right? Go get stuff checked,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
get in
So,
there.
and that's not like it's just one of these things that I see as source of frustration where it's like people every day tell me about how, the chemo is going to kill me. And I'm like, well, okay. Um,
Yeah,
it's I'm here 2.5 years after, and I'm doing pretty well. So,
yeah, yeah,
but anyway, so that's it, man. And I want to encourage, if anybody has questions about my current, my personal situation,
yeah,
Instagram DM me. I'm an open book, man. If I can help save one person from one day of the bullshit that I've had to deal with, then it would be like my life's work. So,
yeah.
I'm here. Just DM me, and if I don't get back to you, then, rattle my cage a little bit. But yeah, I'm here, man. It's I don't want to be a martyr, but it's like I don't think you get to make that decision. I just think that if I can help spread the word about just, you know, um, I have that phrase that make your own heat. And
Yeah,
that was one of those days where it reminded myself that some days you can do everything. You can chop wood, you can carry water, but some days you actually have to make your own fucking fire, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some days, most days, it takes you, nobody else. And if anybody needs any help with that, feel free to reach out, and I can see what I can do.
And they can find you. It's Casey No Holds Barred
Yep.
on Instagram,
Yep.
and then also you've got Tacticalories. We can chase you down from the Tacticalories side.
Yep.
I guess I'll plug Tacticalories. I mean, I said it in the thing. I love everything you guys are about there, and so it's fun. I know that you guys have, this time of year I've done like the chili
Uh-huh.
packs, where it's like all the season you make a chili, which is great for us hunters when you need like a way to. I've got so much ground elk and moose and bear and deer in my fridge right now, and you kind of go, okay, well it's chili season. We're gonna start cooking one of those a week now just to get through that meat,
Yeah. Big thing we're doing right
But
now is the turkey brine kits. Is like
yes,
for Thanksgiving. I mean, that's our biggest thing of the year. Is these kits that take turkey. That's our phrasing is a turkey doesn't suck, sucky turkey sucks. You know?
yeah, yeah.
I love that.
And I've used a couple of those, and they're delicious too.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Thank you,
man.
man.
And it's we could, and I actually thought maybe we need to do it again just so we can talk food, because then you and Tyrell would spend
Oh yeah.
the whole podcast just talking food, because that's if me and him share anything on Instagram, it is
Yeah.
always
It's usually food stuff.
Yep.
it's always food,
Oh,
man.
dope. Yeah, I'm glad you.
Just
We probably should have got the this stuff out of the way first, and then yeah, we can talk. I just made a venison roast, like just kind of. Do you have an Instapot,
yes.
dude? The Instapot is like the best. I made a 4 pound venison roast with
Uh-huh.
with potatoes and carrots and onions and peppers and all this different stuff in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, and it's fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna go eat for lunch
And
right
just
now.
amazing, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, and it's so cool. We're at the phase right now in our home where we're playing kind of like guess that meat,
yeah, yeah,
because I tend to, like, as we start to hunt and we're bringing more meat to the freezer, I'll dig up kind of
yeah,
the bottom of the deep freeze chest or what's at the back that kind of has
yep,
gotten pushed over the years. And so we have a stew that we're just like, this is amazing. And it's kind of, I'm constantly like, I'll take a bite and I'm like, it's moose.
yeah,
And another bite, I'm like, no, 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 that's bear.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, damn it. And now I'm like, I don't, and my wife was like, I don't know. It just said stew meat on it, and I'm like, I have no idea what we're eating right
I
now.
know
So we're
every
at
year
that
I
phase.
tell myself that. I'm like, why don't I get better at marking this stuff? I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. I yeah. So that's
Yeah.
where
You get in a hurry.
I have to,
when you're tired at the end of the hunt, into the season, you're just like, I got to cut this thing up and get it in the freezer.
yeah,
You just, you know what I mean?
I'll
It's like
remember.
stew. And you
I'll
throw it in.
remember.
I'll remember what this is,
Yeah,
but it's yeah, so we're at that phase. But
I got to go
yeah,
buy a
dude, let's
freezer.
I'd love to do it again.
Is it?
Man, I can't wait for you to go do that New Mexico hunt. When Brandon said, "Hey, we got Casey on this hunt," I was so pumped for you. I thought it was gonna be Montana,
Yeah,
but I've hunted near where you're gonna be, and you're gonna have a really damn good time. And those hills are pretty easy to
yeah,
navigate as well.
yeah,
They're not like down timber like Colorado backcountry's
yeah,
nasty right now.
yeah.
It's pretty it's reasonable to navigate those
Yeah, I
woods.
expressed a little concern. I was like, the last thing I want to do is like show up and be a liability, you know?
Yeah.
And they were like, dude, there's there's dentists from Boston showing up to do it. You're gonna be fine, you know? But
Yep. Yep.
yeah, I'm
Yep.
excited, man. Yeah, so I either leave in a couple days or in 1 week. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, brother. Well, dude, check Casey out. Casey no holds barred Instagram, or like maybe my favorite place is Tactic Calories.
Cool.
Go there. But Casey, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us today, man. I think it's hugely impactful. I think guys get a lot out of it, man. And like you said, your time is precious, and you gave us an hour and 45 minutes of it. And so that means the world to me. I really appreciate you. And thanks for being with us, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate your time. I'll talk soon, okay?
We'll do it again. Yeah.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Do it again.
brother.